On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about In Cauda Venenum. I said that it's Latin, but I said it with a Swedish accent.
Well, I'm sure it was spoken with a Swedish accent when it was named.
No, when they named it, it would have been In Cauda Venenum. That was my best Michael Ackerfeld impression for the time being. So yeah, we're talking about the new Opeth album today. All right. That was a weird intro.
That was a weird intro.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm KAYLE.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We both like ourselves a bit of the heavy metal, and we like to talk about it. Today, we gave a listen, and now we're talking about the new Opeth album, In Cauda Venenum, which is...
Yeah,
a Latin phrase
for poison in your ass or something like that.
Yeah, poison in the tail, which essentially means is roughly translated to unpleasant at the end, or like an unwanted surprise at the end. Essentially, is how it would have been used in conversation.
Although the end of this album is very, very good and very memorable.
Yeah, there's nothing unpleasant
at all. No.
About the end of this album. There's nothing unpleasant about this album.
No, it's very pleasant.
It's a very, very nice kind of, I won't say easy listening. There's a lot to appreciate on here. There's a lot of layers to unpack. But it's not it's not going to make your ears bleed.
No, it's not. I mean, the bass on there is going to be...
Well, the bass on there, it'll make your ears bleed a good way, maybe.
Sure.
It's because boy, it's just it's smooth and just boom, 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 boom. It's
tasty,
creamy bass.
Wow,
creamy bass. you had a fillet of bass and you boiled it in cream.
Although bass ale is kind of creamy.
Bass ale. I didn't know there was a bass ale.
Never had bass? I'll have to bring bass sometime.
Bring bass. Today you brought Boulevard Tank 7, which is an American saison. Saison.
Vidal saison.
Yeah.
No, it's not that at all.
Is saison a French style of beer?
I believe so. Well, it might be a Belgian kind of thing. Possible.
The Belgians are known for their beer.
And they're speaking French sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, on occasion, it's been known to happen. But how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's November. It's balls cold outside.
Yeah, cold. It's fucking cold as shit now. I mean, we had our silly little snowstorm a few weeks ago.
Yeah, our tiny squall.
Well, it wasn't tiny at the time.
No,
especially depending upon where you lived. It wasn't tiny, but it didn't stick around long.
No.
At least not for us.
No, it got warmer.
Yeah. It got back to slightly more seasonable temperatures.
Yeah.
And then we hit November, and it was like, all right, we gave you your chance, so fuck you. And last night we got a fair bit of snow, and I think it's gonna stick this time.
Maybe, yeah.
I think this is the beginning of the end, as they say.
It's okay. Spring will come again.
No.
It's okay.
No,
KAYLE.
no. We're in Fimble winter now.
Fimble winter.
It's Fimble winter. This is going to be the last winter. Ragnarok will come after.
There's no sea here, but we should see the beast climb out of the ocean somewhere.
Yeah, there's going to be a giant snake coming out of the ocean. Thor is going to fight it. The snow is going to give way, yes, but it's not spring. It's fucking lava.
Sure.
Because Surtur is going to show up and fight Odin or whatever. I can't remember how actual mythical Ragnarok is supposed to go.
Yeah.
But no one survives. That's what's happening this year.
There was an article in, as you know, the Onion, that talked about, do you remember a while ago Haiti they got flooded, then they got earthquakes, and they got more flooding, and then they got like a vast disease crept across Haiti, and then there was like hail coming down, and the article said that a guy who was sweeping up the rubble of what once his home saw Ragnarok coming out of the ocean and was like,
Yeah. he saw Jormungandr rising from the seas. Yeah, and just like,
not sure why Norse mythology's end of the earth is happening here, but I guess par for the course.
Same shit, different day. God, yeah, I don't. Yeah. Just the Caribbean. You don't. I feel like you don't want to live there.
No,
not in the last decade. It's been just hurricane after hurricane and
disaster after disaster.
My God. It makes me glad that we live as far inland as we do.
Give it time. We'll have a hurricane come through here.
I suppose.
Eventually, yeah.
Well, we're gonna. Remember that movie, The Day After Tomorrow?
Yeah, I didn't see it, but
those ridiculous ice hurricanes. That's what we're gonna get. Where it's a hurricane, but it's a blizzard, and there's that wave of cold freezing that chases Jake Gyllenhaal through.
Is it Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah,
is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the leads of the film, and he gets chased by an oncoming wave of cold through, I believe, the New York Public Library.
Yeah, something like that. They show the Statue of Liberty and the.
Yeah, I think because he's in New York, and then his dad, who is played by Dennis Quaid.
Is it Dennis Quaid?
Is, I think, on the other side of the country. I think he's in California or something, and he's got to go get his son because his dad is also happens to be the climate scientist that predicted all of this.
Sure. Well, is that the one where they call him from overseas and they say the photons are mutating, whatever the hell it was?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Something stupid that he could have told him on the phone and was stupid because it didn't make sense anyway.
Yeah, look, it's a. Oh, now I can't remember. He's a German director, I think.
Yeah.
The same guy that did Independence Day.
Sure.
Which is a horribly stupid movie.
The new Independence Day.
No, he did both of them.
Did he do both of them?
He did both of them.
Really? The first one was fun.
Roland Emmerich. Roland Emmerich is his name. And yeah, I agree. The first Independence Day is a very fun movie. It is not an intelligent movie.
No,
though.
It's not supposed to be.
And that's every one of Roland Emmerich's movies is just, boy, it's dumb, but hey, it sure is a lot of fun to see all this shit get destroyed. That's every Roland Emmerich movie. Except for he chose to direct that movie Stonewall about the gay club in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Where all those riots. Why did Roland Emmerich decide to direct that movie?
Yeah, the producer said we should give this to a director who could really make this happen.
Yeah, someone who's going to
Independence Day.
Yeah, someone who's going to treat this landmark event in the LGBTQ community in the United States. This landmark event in that community. Someone who's going to treat it with the utmost respect. Let's give it to the guy who did 2012.
Yeah. Well, that 2012 was with the little brother of. He's in the movie with the boombox and the.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
What the hell is his
now.
name? Why am I forgetting it?
I don't know. I know.
I can't think of words.
Chiwetel
Ejiofor?
Yeah. I'll go with what you. Yeah. You said.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, I can remember, but however, yeah.
I know how his name is spelled. I could not pronounce it in the moment.
Sure.
It's kind of like Kyrgyzstan.
Sure.
Like, for the longest time, it was the opposite situation.
Yeah.
Where I knew how to spell Kyrgyzstan. I did not, for the life of me, know how to say Kyrgyzstan. I only figured out how to say Kyrgyzstan about 2 months ago. And every time I've seen something pop up where that says, it's like, oh, Kyrgyzstan. I know how to say that now.
You know who taught me how to say Kyrgyzstan?
Who?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
You were having a discussion about Central Asian geography.
We were, and he said, "You know what, Kyrgyzstan?" And I went, "Oh, Kyrgyzstan. That's how you say that." Thank you, Chiwetel. I always
wondered. Well, and when you break it down, like if you actually break down the way it's spelled, it's not that confusing.
Right.
Like, it's not that confusing of a word if you break down the syllables, like you pronounce this syllable that way. Of course you do. It's basic phonics, but when you put it all together. Rightfully so, I think it confuses the fuck out of people because no other word they've ever seen before is spelled that way. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun because there are very few. Because I think the problem with Kyrgyzstan is that there are very few vowels in there. It's like Mjolnir.
Right.
There are so few vowels in the word that your brain kind of goes like, fuck if I know.
It's a hammer.
I guess. Yeah. Sure. Why not? Or Gugnir. Gugnir. That's Odin's spear.
Sure.
Those silly old Norse and their lack of knowledge of vowels.
They have a vowel obstruction. That's what they have.
Ooh. Yeah. They need some. I was gonna try and make some sort of a linguistic play,
but you dropped it.
Some sort of linguistic play on X-lax.
They need a laxative. Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything quick enough. God, if someone was like, if someone offered me any superpower I wanted, I would be very tempted to be like, make me extremely quick-witted. Basically, I want to be like even half as quick-witted as Lee Mack.
Oh, John Cusack.
There we go. Yeah. We figured it out. John Cusack. Also known for being Edgar Allan Poe in that one movie.
Right.
I think the movie was just called The Raven.
Might have been. I didn't see that.
It was like a suspense thriller movie where someone was killing. There was a serial killer who was killing people based on Edgar Allan Poe short stories.
But it didn't actually involve Edgar Allan Poe, or did it?
It did, yeah. They were like, someone is killing. It was a period piece.
Okay.
And they were like, someone is killing people based on your books. I think he was a suspect, and then they were like,
sure,
you're going to help us figure out who it is. Because basically it was like the TV show, it was sort of like the TV show Castle.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But with Edgar Allan Poe instead of Nathan Fillion. I don't know if there's actually a direct connection there. That was the first, I was like, TV show, writer, Castle.
Castle, there it is.
Writer, police, murders, it's Castle. But
so what'd you do this week?
Not much. My over the weekend, my power supply on my Xbox One, which is 5 years old at this point, decided to start making this awful rattling noise.
Ooh.
And I have no idea why. I looked up how to take it apart. I was able to successfully disassemble it as much as I was comfortable with anyway. At least to get it open and get the fan out and dust it out. And reassembled it, turned it on, still making a horrible rattling noise. And I tried again, taking it apart, cleaned it more, still making noise. So I was like, well, it's old. It's probably just fucking broken or something.
So you ordered a new one.
I ordered a new one, but I couldn't get a first party one. Microsoft does not sell first party Xbox One power supplies.
No, they just want you to buy a new Xbox.
Basically, I probably could have gone on eBay and gotten one, but I didn't quite feel like it. So I went on Amazon, and there's a bunch of third-party ones that you can buy.
Different company makes it.
Yeah, and I bought one that seems to have gotten, had good reviews. It was the highest reviewed one.
Made by Hasbro?
No, I can't remember the name of it. It's sitting over there. I haven't plugged it in yet.
All right.
I'm hoping it doesn't, destroy my Xbox.
It'll be fine.
What
could go wrong?
Nothing, probably. But yeah, I want that so I can continue playing Outer Worlds because I haven't played it since that problem happened. Because the Xbox would work. I was extremely annoyed by this rattling sound.
Right. What'd that run you? Was that not a lot? I'm sure.
It was only like $25.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not expensive. The other big thing going on is I had a lady come over to check out my apartment to make sure I'm not a crazy person and that a cat could inhabit this space along with me.
This is what KAYLE calls dating.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it was a date. No. But now I got a call earlier today, and it was really nice. It was perfectly timed because I was in kind of a poor mood earlier today. I was I don't know why, just not having a good time. Just tired and starting to get kind of angry. And then I get a call from the lady who is fostering the cat I'm looking to adopt. And she was like, when are you able to come down and visit the cat? And I was like, oh, sometime this weekend. And we worked out a time. And she told me something I didn't realize is that if the cat seems to like me and I seem to like the cat,
you just go home with it.
I could just go home with it.
So wait a minute, she drove all the way up here from Mandan?
No, this was not the same woman. They had a woman here who lives in Minot that is in contact with them, and they're like, "Hey, can you go over to this guy's house?" And that's what she did.
It's a sketchy job to have.
I mean, she called me first. She was like, "Hey, did you apply for this thing?" It's not just immediately like go over to this guy's house. It's not. She wasn't a fucking repo agent.
Can't have a cat and I'm taking your kidney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't deserve, if you can't make your car payments, you don't deserve to have the car. I'm taking it back.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, I'm going down on Saturday, heading down to Bismarck is where the cat is.
Might be coming back with the cat.
Might be coming back. I hope I'm coming back with a cat. It seems it's an adorable, adorable cat.
Sure.
And I hope everything goes well.
Now, I hope you're planning on getting the litter box and the food and everything anyway.
Yeah, I
regardless of whether or not this is going to happen this weekend.
Yeah, that's tomorrow and probably Friday. I'm going to be getting the necessary items just in case I do come home with a cat.
The accoutrement.
The probably going to shell out a little bit for a cat tower.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Because I hopefully the cat would then go like, oh, I'm going to climb on this and not go up on the countertops and try to get up on top of the cabinets and whatnot.
Sure, because that's how that works.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to have to try my best to keep the cat off of countertops and cabinets. And
keep your countertops clean anyway.
Yeah. I was going to say I'm. It's not as if I keep my apartment the most sterile environment in the world, but I grew up in a house where the cats were not allowed on top of any of the kitchen surfaces.
Right.
And that's something that I agree with and want to keep to. And so, I would get that because I know cats like to be up high.
Sure they do.
They like to be up high. They like to survey their surroundings. So get
cat
something
tree
like that.
Be awesome. Yeah.
A cat tree.
You're still going to come home and find your shit on the floor.
Probably. Although, like my parent, none of the cats that my parents have ever had in my memory liked to knock shit over.
All right.
Although, generally speaking, most of the time things got left. Most of the things that were left sitting out were also on top of surfaces they were not allowed to go onto.
Sure.
They were on top of cabinets, on top of entertainment centers, that sort of thing, where the cats were not supposed to get up.
And if you explain those things to a cat,
yes, they will listen.
They will obey.
Yep.
Immediately, because that's how cats work.
I think part of it was that a lot of it is in areas that are not readily accessible to them.
Oh, sure.
And most of the cats that my parents have had have been declawed. Some people aren't fans of that.
Are you going to declaw this cat? Or
no, I don't think so. I'm not that worried about the cat scratching up my stuff.
Okay.
I'm not particularly worried about.
You're not worried about losing the resale value on your sectional.
Yeah, that's it's an old sectional anyways. So I'm not worried about that at the moment. And that's why you also get them scratching posts and whatnot, and
you can get those combination tower scratching posts.
Yeah, a lot. I think most of them already generally are.
Right, that's what we have.
They have their tower with a scratching post. So yeah, I'm excited about that because when I got that call, I immediately lit up. I was happy for the rest of the workday, just beaming because I love kitties. So I want to go down and get my little kitty.
Go kitty, go!
Basically, if you want to turn me into a child, present me with an animal and say, here, you can pet this for a while, and I will turn into a little child.
Of course, I'm imagining in my head that it's a rhino. Oh, there we go.
We suddenly lost stereo, and I laughed so hard that we lost stereo in the headphones.
There we go. All right, I fixed it.
You fixed it? Yeah, it sounds like you fixed it. That was bizarre. I knocked my head back to laugh, and suddenly we
there you go.
lost it for a second there.
Yep.
I gotta get a new splitter.
Yeah.
We're using this little wire headphone splitter and also a daisy chain of aux cables.
Well, it's mainly this thing back here behind me. It's
yeah.
I think your splitter's fine. It's this cable back here.
Yeah, we've kind of got a weird sort of very jury-rigged daisy chain of aux cables leading up. I just need to get one long aux cable.
There you go.
But at any rate, do we want to get into this here album that we've got?
Okay, what album we doing?
Well, if you remember at the before all the discussion about cats in Kyrgyzstan, Cats of Kyrgyzstan,
the Cats of Kyrgyzstan. That's got to be a calendar,
or maybe a band name,
perhaps.
Fun fact: before we get into the album, fun fact I learned about Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah,
Kyrgyzstan is home to the largest walnut forest anywhere in the world. It's this huge walnut forest that apparently they say, according to history and sort of the local folklore, it was planted there.
Oh, really?
The start of this walnut forest was planted there by somebody.
But they don't know by who.
I think the folklore says something, but like as far as history, they're not sure exactly where it came from. But it's this huge walnut forest, and that's actually one of the big exports from specifically that area of Kyrgyzstan, and Kyrgyzstan in general is walnut products.
All right. Thank you, Cliff Clavin. That was
it was something that I learned when I learned how to pronounce Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, it's a little known fact.
Kyrgyzstan
is the.
You ever been down to Florida? A Spanish conquistador came to Florida to look for the fountain of youth. Yeah,
very Chicago on us there.
Yeah, I know that was much more Dub Bears than
fine.
Boston Red Sox, but I'm basically North Dakota and Cliff Clavin.
Sure,
so
which is fine.
I'm fine with that.
You're having a beer.
Yep. I'm drinking beer, talking about random shit. Okay. In Cauda Venenum was the or Venenum possibly. It's the name of this album by Opeth. This is the fourth of their prog rock albums.
Sure.
Starting in 2011, they switched styles. They went from this sort of slow, kind of proggy death metal to this very proggy death metal,
right? To
just a straight progressive rock sound. And this is the album that out of these four leans closest to progressive metal in the style of like Dream Theater or something.
Yes.
It's still slower and more Swedish than Dream Theater could ever be, but it definitely leans, I think, more closely to progressive metal than progressive rock necessarily. There are certainly some more elements of that, although the line between progressive metal and progressive rock is very blurry, especially when you've got bands like Dream Theater,
right?
Where it's extremely blurry.
It's like the border with Canada and North Dakota.
Yeah, it's very. Whenever you drive up to the border, everybody starts checking their glasses, going like, "What the fuck? Why can't I? Why can't I see all of a sudden?" And it's not until you hit about Brandon that you can see clearly again.
You go, "Oh shit, I'm in Canada."
Yeah, there's a lot of. You didn't even realize you crossed the border.
That happens. There are little dirt roads up on the northern border where you're swishing in and out of the country.
Yeah. And it's that border is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And it's interesting to me, having grown up in this era of fences and border walls and shit, that, and in my lifetime as well, you could just go to Canada. You didn't need a passport. You could just go to Canada.
Oh yeah, I used to do it all the time. All the time.
You could Mexico was that way too. You could you could just go to Mexico and
come home.
And come home, no problem. It was just like, all right, you got to stop for a little bit, but it's fine. Like that's so confusing to me, and I wish we still had that. There's something simple about that. Just go to another country. It's fine. It's like in Europe. You know, if you're in the EU, just go to another country.
Indeed,
don't worry about it.
We're in France. Let's go to Spain. Yeah,
it's that easy. Get on a train if you want to go to Spain.
You can do so in the rain. couldn't find a rhyme. You really?
I couldn't because I already said plane.
Yeah.
Because the rhyme is the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane, but we already said plane.
Did we say plane?
We did say plane.
I thought you said train.
Ah, fuck.
Oh well.
That doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
Nothing does.
So Opeth. So we've talked about Opeth on the podcast before.
Blackwater Park.
Yeah, we did their album Blackwater Park, which is maybe the high Blackwater mark of their death metal career. Possibly, it's considered by a lot of people to be their best death metal album.
Although that one really weaves in and out of.
Oh yeah, but that was their entire discography except for like their first two albums, which were more straight.
Sure.
Closer to straight death metal. They would still have acoustic interludes because they're Opeth. That's always been their thing.
Yeah.
Is suddenly acoustic guitar. And Michael has always, had this very rich, clean singing voice. And that's what he's been using exclusively since 2011. They released an album called Heritage, which, according to Michael Ackerfeld himself, a lot of people hated.
Okay.
And then they just kept going because it's what Michael wants to do, and Opeth is, in many ways, his thing. It has been his baby ever since he joined this original band, and everybody else left. But him and one other guy.
Right. There are no original members of Opeth.
Yeah. Technically, depending upon how you want to trace the lineage of the band. Yeah. And so it's kind of always been his baby. He's been responsible for the sound. And Michael Ackerfeld is, he's not a young person anymore.
No, he's 45.
And he's old. Yeah, he's an old man.
Decrepit.
Got one foot in the grave. But he's said in many interviews that while it was the musical culture he grew up in, at least when he started playing music, that was Sweden in the early 90s. It was death metal. And
so that's what you do.
If you wanted to make a rock band, that's what you would do. That was the sort of that was in vogue for underground rock bands, is you'd play death metal. But when you hear him talk, that's not generally what he likes to listen to, especially not now.
No, especially when they've done a number of "What's in My Bag" things,
and there's always one ABBA album in there, if not several.
Yeah,
and he paid like $2,000 for an ABBA album that he already had.
Well, yeah,
it was a limited print of an album he already had, and he was like, "Oh, well, I'll pay $2,000 for this."
He has 50 some odd copies of the White Album. Did you know that?
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, they're all numbered. He doesn't own a repeat number, but they're all numbered copies of the White Album.
Yeah, he's a good Swedish boy. He loves himself some ABBA.
Yeah. Well, the White Album is Beatles.
Oh. Might cut that out.
It's all right.
Because I was talking about ABBA.
I know.
You were talking about.
Oh, I thought we were just talking about his record collection in general.
Yeah.
It's
sometimes
fine.
Sometimes you got to tag. You got to be like, White Album by the Beatles, and I can be like, yes, I know.
I shouldn't have to do that.
Yes. Yeah, you probably shouldn't, but fuck it.
It's all right, man.
Oh boy,
you're young yet.
Yeah.
I have 3 copies of the White Album.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, though, on CD or on cassette, or what do you have them on?
I have a cassette and vinyl, and the vinyl's at my mom's house, and then I also have it on CD.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, that's just weird because I guess I don't need multiple copies of the same album, but it's like I don't know if there's an album that I would get multiples of.
Yeah.
But then again, the White Album is a collectible thing. It's a piece of Beatles memorabilia at a certain point.
Got the poster in there, and
that's like none of the albums that I have are collectible.
Maybe I don't have it on cassette. Well, anyway,
you have it on 8-track.
Maybe I have The Wall on 8-track.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Car Wash soundtrack on 8-track.
Now here's something that I could do. I can I should pick a band that I can go like, I love this. This is my favorite thing, and endeavor to like for example, I could say The Greatest Generation by the Wonder Years. I endeavor to own that in every form of physical media it is available in.
Sure.
That could be a thing that I do. I'm not going to do that, but like that would be the thing. Be like, oh, I got it on vinyl, I got it on CD, and that's kind of it, because I don't think the Wonder Years has done any cassette tapes or anything for the Greatest Generation. I don't think they've done. They're not that hipster.
They didn't put it out on digital audio tape or.
Yeah, it's a DV cassette, for cameras.
Sure,
but it's a mini DV tape.
But it only has audio.
But it only has audio on it, and you can only play it in your Sony Handycam.
Yeah,
it only works through a video camera. That's how you have to listen to the album.
You have to play it in your video camera and put headphones, plug it into the video camera.
Yeah, or get one of those, octopi of multicolored odds and ends that you can then plug into your
RCA.
Yeah,
RCS.
That you can then plug into the RCA nodes on the front of your CRT television. Like the old just pretty much any game console. That was Xbox, that was PlayStation, that was I think the Wii. Yeah, everyone.
I have a PS2 RCA. Plugged into the RCA plug to my TV.
I remember as a kid being like, okay, what one goes to where? Because they weren't always color coded. At least on the TVs that my parents had.
It was usually white, yellow, and red.
Yeah, that was the colors on the end of the PlayStation. But the ones on our TV, I don't think were color coded.
Really?
It was I think it was RCA, but I didn't know what that meant. I think they had sort of labels over the ports, but yeah, they not deliberately, but it was confusing as a child. As a child who just wanted to play Star Wars Battlefront. It was confusing. Boy, we went off the rails there.
So Opeth.
Opeth. Also, for some reason, I cannot resist saying Opeth in the most Nodak way possible.
Opeth.
I've been saying Opeth.
Oh, yeah.
I think because it starts with op.
Op.
Op. Op. Just gonna sneak by you here. just gonna walk. Just gonna go past. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry. No problem. It's all right.
Opeth.
Sorry. Are you? No, it's all right. You're all right. You're fine.
Because you could almost do it in Greek.
Opeth. I can't remember where the name of the band comes from. Opeth. I'm not sure. I've got papers behind you. If you
papers
want
on here. Let's grab that. Just hand that over to you.
We'll use these a little bit later.
Sure.
But this is for the album. But yeah, if you don't know much about Opeth, you can listen to our previous Blackwater Park episode, and
listen to that.
Listen to that one. We'll talk. That one might have been more coherent. I can't remember. But this came out on September 28th. I've been listening to it quite a bit since it came out. This became, for a little while I was painting a lot of minis, sort of became my my go-to album for mini painting, because it's a bit more relaxing. I wasn't trying to, if I was listening to Shadow of Intent while painting minis.
That'd be a little more difficult.
Yeah, that might be difficult to focus.
Yeah. Why is he gnashing his teeth while painting minis?
Trying to. Wow, that's a very crooked line on that hobgoblin. So, did you figure out what it means?
City of the Moon. It's a fictional Phoenician city in South Africa, translated as City of the Moon. It's from a book, Wilbur Smith novel, The Sunbird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds like a very Opeth sort of place to get that name from.
To take it from literature.
Yeah. That seems like a very Opeth sort of thing. So yeah, this is a very much a progressive rock style album. There's a little bit here and there that is approaching levels of heaviness. Certain segments of, shall we say, Opeth albums.
Opeth, yeah.
That, I feel like if you stripped the growled vocals out of certain segments of Opeth music, it wouldn't sound terribly dissimilar to this, with the exception of the keyboards.
There's a lot of keys in here.
Yeah, they didn't have any keyboards on their any of their death metal work. I can't remember when they permanently added keyboards to their sound, but I think it's a great addition, especially for the direction that they're going in. And even it's a great addition to their old direction, because when they play live shows, sometimes they'll play some of their old songs. Michael will bring the growl out of retirement for a little bit, and they play the keyboard with those songs, and it actually adds a whole nother dimension to the music that works really, really well. It makes it sound even more sinister.
Nice.
And sort of evil than it already did.
So original Opeth, add keyboard, even gooder.
Even more gooder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Very much. Yes, very much. But yeah. What are your opening thoughts on this album?
My opening thoughts, it's one of those albums. I think I was saying earlier. A lot of it, if you play individual tracks here, it sounds like a farewell. A lot of it does.
Yeah.
It's what a lot of it says. If this song began playing over a scene in a movie, I'm like, oh, they're about to roll credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sort of end of a kind of depressing, melancholy love story.
Sure, and the rain starts, and I always loved you. Someday we'll meet again. And I just
so what you're saying is this would work really well over, I guess, the penultimate scene of Castaway. Not quite the end scene where he goes to Texas and delivers the angel wing package to that country singer lady whose name escapes me at the moment. But you have to cut that scene out. But cut the penultimate scene where it's raining and he's talking to his ex-girlfriend who thought he was dead.
Right.
It worked there.
It worked great there. Any song off this album
would work great for that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once you said that, I couldn't get that thought out of my head. And I think you're right. At least for a fair amount. There's some of them that doesn't quite. Dignity would be kind of weird.
Yeah.
To open up just
sure. Yeah. That's a great song.
Oh my
God, that's
an
amazing song.
It's a great song. An interesting thing about this album is that it was written in Swedish. All the lyrics were written in Swedish, and then it was towards the end of the writing and recording process, Michael kind of got cold feet and decided to write English lyrics and also record an English version. They were just going to do Swedish. It was just going to be a Swedish album, and then Michael, I think rightfully, got cold feet and was like, we better do an English version of this as well.
More people speak English than Swedish.
Yeah. And most Swedish people speak English.
Right.
So, but hey, if you're Swedish, this album's for you.
Sure. I want to do that. I want to give the Swedish version a listen. I haven't done that.
Well, and the some of the reviews I was reading were talking about how actually some of it flows a lot better because the phrasing on the English version, which is, I think, partially translated, partly written from whole cloth.
Revamped,
revamped and reworked because I'm sure there's some translations from Swedish to English that did not work phonetically, that he had to come up with something new. Apparently, the Swedish version is better than the English version. That's what people have said. It sounds better, or at least the lyrics make more sense, especially if you speak Swedish. But it flows together a little bit better. It'd
be funny if the Swedish version, if you could actually translate it directly, was just party jams.
It's just party jams, or it was complete nonsense. It was the Swedish Open to Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they talk about the moose.
Yeah,
there's the "Come see our mooses" or whatever. Is like what the Swedish translation was. They didn't put subtitles or anything, but yes, it's like that. But apparently the Swedish version is even better. That being said, it's not like glaringly obvious that this was translated into English from Swedish. I think most of it still works. And the vocals, my God,
amazing.
Michael, I mean, he's always been a good singer.
And there's good harmonies in there with it.
Yeah, their keyboardist also does backing vocals, and Michael's got a set of pipes on him, and like I've always known that, but he has always had one of the deepest and most intense and intimidating growls
right.
in metal, but his clean vocals always kind of took second chair to his growls. But my God, when he opens up, oh wow, it's powerful. And he uses falsetto on here too. Right. There are what?
Did your light just turn on? Is that possible?
I have one bulb that kind of flickers on and off.
Oh, okay.
In my bedroom.
We're not alone.
Yeah, no, that's even though it's been doing that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I should just change the bulb, but
Sure.
I'm lazy. It still catches me sometime when I'm sitting at my computer and out of the corner of my eye I see something flicker and I'm like, what the fuck was that? I was like, oh yeah, my light bulb's shitty.
Sure.
But yeah, his goodness. It's did it do it again?
Yeah.
Just try to. It's nothing. OJ.
I'm just waiting for a little gnarled hand to come around the corner, just shake it.
Oh, that's just my friend, the Goblin.
Yeah, that's Nosferatu. He's just hanging out this weekend.
Well, it's Boblin, the Goblin.
Oh, Christ.
His name is Boblin.
Boblin the Goblin.
Yeah. There is a great webcomic called Bun Boy, where it's sort of the artist's avatar, but it's all D&D comics. And he would sneak this cute little goblin into and hide it in the background. And everyone was like, "What's with the goblin? What's the deal with the goblin?" And so he made a panel about annoying D&D players always obsessing over insignificant NPCs.
Right.
And the players were like you see you see a couple of people sitting at a table. There's this older guy. There's a goblin sitting at one table. And they're like, "We want to go talk to the goblin." Like, okay, god damn it. All right. What's the goblin's name? Boblin. And then they start asking Boblin the most intrusive questions. And just like, "We love him. We're going to protect him with our lives." It's like, god damn it.
It's really insignificant.
So now that artist started a Kickstarter to make essentially a graphic novel about Boblin because the character was such a runaway success in true D&D fashion. And it's an adorable little character design. I'll have to show you Boblin.
All right.
But I don't remember what I was...
We're talking about the vocals on
this.
this.
We're talking about the vocals. It's good shit. It's good shit. I don't know what else. I was kind of done, but
all right.
They're great. They're really good. He's got a lot of range. He does. Like the falsetto that he uses on here. There's, I think, a couple of moments on Opeth albums where he used falsetto just a little bit, but here he's got a lot more opportunities to make use of that part of his range. There is also kind of this sort of strained quality to some of the vocals, which he explained in an interview was basically like, it was me trying to sing better than I can, where he's sort of belting a little bit and bringing a little bit of distortion into his voice.
Be neat if they started doing albums entirely in falsetto.
I think then we just have a King Diamond album.
Well, maybe, yeah.
we don't need them to do. There's already a band that satisfies that desire. OJ, we've listened to them.
And now we have an interview with Michael Ackerfeld. What do you think of the new album? Where does it come from? Where in your heart is this album? Well,
that would be.
Let me tell you.
That would be so unexpected because he has such a very deep very, very rich voice.
He does.
I would love to I would love to hear him narrate a documentary.
Yeah, oh yeah.
God, he's got such I could listen to him talk all day. He's got such a lovely voice. Like if they were to make a documentary about ABBA, You'd
want Michael Ackerfeld to do the
he'd be
voiceover.
A perfect fit. He's Swedish. He's got a very easy voice to listen to. He's very well spoken. He's a musician, and he's a massive ABBA fan. I almost want to commission a documentary about ABBA now, just to have Michael Ackerfeld voice it. If I had millions of dollars, billions of dollars, perhaps, I'd do that.
If you had some Kylie Jenner money.
If I had some Kylie Jenner money.
Yeah.
If I had billions of dollars,
Yeah.
I'd commission that documentary to be made, and then I'd never show it to anyone Prince style.
You'd vault it. There we
I'd
go.
vault it. This
There it
movie is for me. I'd pay Kevin Smith millions of dollars to make this movie, and then never show it to anyone.
I think it'd be fun the next time we have a month with no metal in it to do an ABBA Gold.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure. I'm like, I don't know what it is
Mm-hmm.
about my musical sensibilities.
Yeah.
But for some reason, swinging very hard in the other direction is easy for me.
Sure.
Like, I mean, that's why I liked that. Oh no.
What?
The Mollusk. What
Oh,
was it?
Ween.
Ween.
Yeah.
That's like I like that Ween album so much, and Duran Duran,
Sure.
and that's we've talked about Wolfpack before.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We should get funky.
Yeah, we like something about me, like swinging so hard in the other direction. It's easy for me. I don't know why. So yeah, ABBA would probably be a lot of fun. It would probably be, but yeah, next time, come March, we definitely need to do some Wolfpack stuff.
Sure.
We need to
Hell yeah.
turn the Wolf compressor on. Listen to Joe Dart slap that big guitar.
With his sunglasses on.
With his, I don't think I've ever seen that man's eyes. I don't think I've ever seen all the music videos I've ever seen, even interviews. He's wearing those goddamn sunglasses. So yeah, well, that'll come in the future. There is a kind of a little bit of it's the 70s prog rock influence on this album, but
Sure.
like there's, it almost feels a little funky every now and then.
Occasionally.
It's the keyboards and sort of the cadence of it, I think.
Now you said I went back and I tried to find that gent part you were talking about.
That was in Charlatan.
Was that in Charlatan?
It's towards the beginning of the song. I was scrolling through it while we were at work trying to show you that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in Charlatan, and it's just bass too. It's not your 8-string guitar gent like you would have in Meshuggah or something. It's just bass gent. It's the opposite of Meshuggah gent, exactly, because Meshuggah doesn't use bass.
Right. Don't they? No, they don't. That's right.
So at least some of their albums.
Yeah.
Maybe they do on some of them, but on like some of their more notable stuff, they just use 8 strings. They forego the use of a bass guitar. But it's speaking of bass guitar, that's another super rich part of this album. Oh, and we mentioned that towards the beginning of the episode.
Great sounding bass.
Oh, great sounding bass. That's like that is the thing that can sell me on the sound of anything. Any sort of style, as long as your bass sounds good and is audible too.
Right. You can discern it from the rest of the music.
The only exception I feel like I would make for that is grindcore,
Yeah.
because you're lucky if anything is discernible in
Right.
grindcore. So I'll make an exception for that. But if you take the time to dial in a really good bass tone, God, I appreciate that so much. All right, let's get into some of our criteria. here.
Does it slap?
Does it slap?
I don't know if it slaps. It's not a slapper. It's not meant for that.
Yeah, it's not meant for that. I think almost certain parts of Dignity.
It threatens to slap.
Yeah, it threatens. Yeah, it's a handheld high.
Yeah.
It's up there. It might come at you, but then it just comes in for a nice crisp high five.
Sure.
But like that sudden release in Dignity after that sort of slow acoustic part.
Because that's a lot of buildup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it doesn't even build up all that much, but it just hits. And you've got probably one of the heaviest riffs on the album just comes out of nowhere, and behind the keyboards are just going behind it. That's a tasty section right there. But no, I don't think it slaps.
Yeah.
I'd say not. It's not built for that.
Right. Did you find a score?
There were some scores, I think, right here on the Wikipedia page. I didn't average them together, but generally speaking, it's quite favorable. The lowest one on here that the way it appears anyway, Sputnik Music gave it a 3.7 out of 5, which is still not terrible.
No, it's not.
It's got an 85 on Metacritic.
Wow.
Which is an average in and of itself. All Music gave it, what is that? Oh, that's 5. Okay.
5 out of 7?
No, it's not. It's not a perfect 5 out of 7. That's a meme right there. No, that looks like 4.5 out of 5.
Oh wow.
It's doing pretty well critically anyway. They also have charts here. The highest charting position that this album has attained is number 2 on the Finnish albums chart.
Wow. Number 2 in Finland.
Of course, it's number 2 in Finland. I can't remember. What wasn't "Swallow the Sun" number 3?
Something like that.
It only got beat out by like Ariana Grande or some shit. Because ridiculous. Finland is fucking awesome. God, I love Finland. Number 4 Scottish albums chart. Let's see here. What's the next highest one? Number 5 German albums chart. Only number 12 in good old Sweden.
Interesting.
Come on, Sweden. They're yours. Number 10 in Switzerland. Just UK albums in general, number 13. Number 16. Oh, number 9 in Norway.
Number 9?
Norway liked it more than Sweden did.
Number 9? Really?
What are you doing?
Sorry, back to the White Album. Anyway, moving forward.
Okay. So what are you doing? What are you doing here? What are you trying to set up?
Number
13
9.
in Belgium, so on and so forth. The lowest position is the U.S. Billboard chart at number 59. That doesn't surprise me because this country sucks.
Well,
at any rate, so it's doing well for itself, and I'm happy for that. I think this is a fantastic album, and I've heard a lot of buzz, people talking about how this is probably their best album in about a decade.
Wow,
it's their best album since Watershed, essentially, and the best one of this new period of their career.
It's very good. It's very, very listenable, very, very enjoyable.
Yes, and it keeps you engaged. It's not too slow.
No,
and that's I've tried to listen to some of the other stuff in their prog rock selection, and some of the other stuff it's just a little too slow.
Bottoms out.
It doesn't grab my attention the way that I feel it should. But this one does. This one keeps me engaged. So what is your favorite song on this here record?
Well, I love the opening cut. I also love Lovelorn Crime.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the slower ones.
Yeah, but just something about it is just it just pulls your soul out of your chest.
Yeah, it's a sad one.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to say Dignity. That's the first full song. There was an intro before that called The Garden of Earthly Delights, but Dignity, I'd have to say, or as it's known in Swedish. Give me a second here.
Kyrgyzstan.
No,
Kyrgyzstan.
No, it's Svikets Prince.
Svikets Prince.
Yes.
All right.
I'm not quite sure exactly what that means. But yeah, I really like Dignity. Dignity is one of my favorite albums.
Cuts on the album.
One of my favorite cuts on the album. Thank you.
I'm with you.
The next one, I think Charlatan. Just because I appreciate, the first time I listened to it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's with the bass gent.
Yeah. It's like, is that gent on a new Opeth album? They didn't even gent on their old albums.
And anytime you bring up gent, I picture someone wearing tweed and having a curly mustache and an eyepiece.
No, that's a gent.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is gent.
Okay.
There's a subtle difference.
There's a subtle difference.
Yes, a new gent album.
Yes, we are fine gentlemen. Trust me, that joke has been made many times. Many times.
The last song is also awesome.
Yes, All Things Will Pass.
That stuck in my head for quite a while after it was done.
Yeah.
In fact, it was one of those things where that song was done and I was doing something else and everything went silent in my headphones and it just kind of played in my head.
Yeah. He just kind of kept going, didn't take the headphones off.
Nope.
He just kept doing.
Yeah.
Now that's happened to me before.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out the concept on this album. I think it seems to be a general sense of dystopia, but also there is this central theme of some sort of love story. That dignity. The music video makes it a little bit more clear. There's like this young girl who's forced into some sort of political marriage.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if there's one unifying concept here and a story, or if there are sort of separate concepts inside of a theme. I'm not really sure, but there are certain cuts that there's one line on, I think, Heart and Hand, or maybe it was Next of Kin, where there's a line is the parody is real, and next few lines that follow that seemed like it was almost a comment on U.S. politics.
Wow.
About how the what was once the joke is kind of now
the norm.
Yeah, the norm. It's the daily reality. Is how wacky global politics has become. So that seemed to be almost a comment on that, but under sort of a kind of 1984 type lens. That's sort of the vibe that I got from this album, was that sort of a gothic dystopia. That's the best term I can come up with to describe the feeling of this album.
But played so beautifully.
Yes. Oh, that's the gothic part,
Yeah.
I think. Like, you think of gothic architecture. It's beautiful.
Sure.
It's gorgeous. But it's also a bit sinister and intimidating.
Well, sometimes when I think of gothic, I think of, wearing too much eye makeup and black nail polish.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of that, too.
Yeah, I guess.
But I was thinking more of the art style. Gothic dystopia. That's how I'd sum up the sound of this album, and I dig it. I like it a lot. Speaking of liking things a lot, what are you bequeathing on this? What are you bestowing?
I have to give it a gold.
I was on the fence a little bit. I'm not sure if I have. I'm not sure if I want to give it a gold or not.
You might land on silver in this one.
I might call it an electrum. I don't know. It's an alloy of gold and silver.
Sure.
Fuck it. I'll give it a gold. This is some really good stuff.
It's the best thing they've done since, in the last 10 years. Do you think 2009 was 10 years ago? Oh my God.
And
so crazy.
Watershed came out in 2008. Opeth hasn't put out a death metal album since 2008.
Since you were in junior high.
Yeah. Before I even had any concept of what death metal was. So yeah, it's a great album. I think I'll be going back to this one.
Oh, yeah.
And listening to it more, and definitely giving the Swedish version a shot. I want to see how that goes. It's beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. It would have been this would have been pretty good mood music for like a Halloween party.
Oh yeah.
This, because it's spooky, but it's beautiful. Hannah, you'll like this one.
Give it a listen, Hannah. I don't know you, Hannah, but I feel like I know you.
For you listeners out there, Hannah's my older sister.
Yeah.
I think you'll like this one. Talking directly to you, big sister. So yeah, that's about it for Cauda Venenum.
That's about it for this album.
Veneminum.
This album titled Chuatella Giafor. Yeah.
Recorded live in Kyrgyzstan.
In the largest walnut grove on the planet.
Yeah. That would actually be a pretty cool place to have a concert. Walnut trees are kind of cool and sort of gnarled looking, and yeah, that'd be a cool place. I want to go to Kyrgyzstan.
Sure.
And see what their what it has to offer. See, I suddenly have had a worry that I've been saying Kyrgyzstan wrong this whole time.
Right.
That I think I've got it right, but actually I don't. And that someone is going to comment and be like, "You fucking dumbass," bragging about how you can pronounce Kyrgyzstan. You're not even saying it right.
And if you do note that he is wrong, please ad nauseum comment
every episode from now on. Maybe it's Kyrgyzstan. I don't know.
Kyrgyzstan.
At any rate, what's the plan for next week, there, bud?
Well, because I think I had mentioned weeks before that maybe we're gonna do it. Maybe it's time to do it. Maybe it's time to drop the blade there.
With Iron Maiden.
Yeah. Possibly do Number of the Beast.
All right.
Let's do Number of the Beast for next week.
Okay, Number of the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
666. The number of the beast.
Or at least as I knew someone used to say, 668. The neighbor of the beast. Hell and fire. We swore to call police. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be. It's a fucking classic.
It is.
I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Week after that. Oh, we had talked about new Fit for Adoption.
Yeah.
Fit for Adoption. I can't fucking talk tonight.
Fit for an autopsy.
Fit for an autopsy. It's the new Fit for an Autopsy album called The Sea of Tragic Beasts. Yeah, there we go. I can talk normal if I just
if you're just goofy.
Yeah.
Just make it goofy.
I can actually say words if I talk like Goofy.
Kyrgyzstan.
My favorite place to buy walnuts is Kyrgyzstan. Yeah. God.
All right.
So yeah, that's the next couple of weeks, and then we're getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
Closer and closer
to Death Metal December.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
I'm also very stoked.
Yeah.
Very stoked for Death Metal December.
Awesome.
Because we got some good fucking we got.
Oh
some,
yeah.
Well, we don't know if they'll be good yet, but they're good.
They're good albums. We don't pick bad albums here.
They're gonna be good.
I mean, they're good to us.
Well, I'm talking about the albums that haven't come out yet.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
New Blood Incantation and new Cattle Decapitation.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
we don't know if those are going to be good yet, but they're probably going to be.
Cattle Incantation. It's going to be
Cattle Incantation.
Blood Decapitation. Yeah.
I would like that'd be a great tour.
Sure.
Cattle Decap, Blood Incantation,
Blood Incant.
Blood Incant. Yeah. Maybe get Gate Creeper in there or
Sure.
something. That'd be a good tour.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got a roadmap.
All right. We're there.
It's getting closer and closer and closer. So for the meantime, if you want to keep up to date with your stuff, whenever this album, we're calling episodes albums from now on.
Yeah. It is an album of episode.
This episode, whenever I need a nap.
Sure.
Or, considering
maybe a third beer.
Yeah. Considering it's 8:00, maybe just go to sleep.
Just go to bed.
No, if you want to keep up to date with stuff, whenever this episode comes out or the next one after that, check us out on our social media pages. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. If you follow us and like us on there, you'll always get updates when new stuff comes out. Or even better than that, you can subscribe to us on Libsyn or on iTunes, and you'll get your updates that way.
Whether you like it or not.
Fuck you. Here's a new episode.
Eat shit. Enjoy.
I should put that I should put that at the start of every episode. Yeah. Fuck you. Here's a new episode. Just really show our contempt for our audience, for our limited audience.
Yeah.
That's not true. We love you.
Oh, every time he said that, he didn't break eye contact with me.
We love you.
Yes, of course.
But exclusively in a creepy way. Anyway.
We're outside your house right now.
Yeah. What are you wearing? All right. That got too creepy too quick. It did. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. I'm KAYLE.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.